Well, hello there. How are you today? Hope you're having a fantastic day. We're in that weird part of the year, aren't we? Between Christmas and New Year's where nothing really happens. We just eat and drink too much. But yeah, hope you are having a great time, whatever you believe, whatever you are doing at this time of the year. Happy 2026. And I think 2026 is going to be a good year. I think we're really going to start to see the Allies falling. I mean, I think, in my opinion, it's been happening anyway for the last couple of years at least. But I think we're at a point where the system is really starting to break down. So, yeah, let's get in and have a look at the strange realm we find ourselves in.
I don't think anyone realizes how insane 2025 truly was. In the first week of the year, LA was hit with the costliest wildfires in global history. Trump was sworn in as president. The infamous ice raids began. Trump then tried to buy Greenland. DeepSeek hit #1 in the App Store and got everyone shook. And how could we forget this?
TikTok is planning to shut down its app to users in the United States this Sunday.
February was a bit of a strange one. North Korea opened its borders. Trump officially began the tariff wars. Microsoft created an entirely new state of matter. And the world was left stunned at what we witnessed at the White House.
You don't have the cards. People are dying. They're running low on soldiers.
March was the month where Elon Musk started getting abused in every way possible. We witnessed the most embarrassing leaked group chat of all time. North Korea closed their borders again. The astronauts stranded in space for 9 months finally returned to Earth. TikTok tried to permanently ban my account for reasons we still don't know to this day. And Trump tried to make Canada the 51st state. April, we really started realizing the year was aging like milk as global stock markets started crashing because of the tariffs. The freaking Pope died. NASA confirmed that China's dam was literally slowing Earth's rotation. But hey, at least scientists resurrected the extinct direwolf after 10,000 years. In May, we saw white smoke and we were told that the new Pope is American. The GTA 6 trailer actually dropped and it blew everyone. Halfway through the year, the bromance ended and Elon Musk and Trump started beefing. This is also the month where World War III started trending because not only did Iran and Israel start bombing each other, but then the US got involved and carried out on Iran the largest B-2 bombing operation in America's history. Kabila was deported from the US, North Korea opened a beach resort, and I ate my first ever black chicken.
If you don't like it, you're racist.
July was a pretty horrific month. Diogo Jota tragically died in a car crash. Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan also died. Diddy escaped a life sentence. Huge global pressure started mounting against Israel for the starvation crisis in Gaza. The UK's age verification law came into effect. And Coldplay exposed what's become the world's most famous affair.
Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
Roblox had huge problems in August after they banned Schlep and caused an uprising. A massive typhoon had its way with Taiwan. Mr. Beast broke the world record for the most amount of money raised for charity in a single stream. Trump and Putin met, and Africa said, "We want a new map." In September, for the first time ever, we saw Putin, Kim Jong-un, and Xi Jinping together. Nepal overthrew their government and gave the Gen Z protests of 2025 their symbol. The UN said that Israel has committed genocide in Gaza. Africa's largest hydropower dam opened in Ethiopia. The world's first AI minister was introduced in parliament in Albania. And of course, one of the most searched events of the entire year happened.
Conservative activist and podcaster Charlie Kirk has been shot.
In October, a ceasefire was agreed between Gaza and Israel. Trump didn't win the Nobel Peace Prize. Jamaica was hit with the most powerful earthquake in their history, Bombaclat. 6/7 was named Word of the Year. We witnessed the most insane heist at the Louvre in Paris. And no, the jewels still haven't been recovered. And this was the month where Sora was released and quickly got out of hand.
I'm a CEO in a porcelain spa.
In November, Zohran Mamdani became one of the most searched people on the planet after winning the New York mayor election. Rockstar broke our hearts again after delaying GTA 6. Trump and Ronaldo linked up at the White House. 303 school children were kidnapped in Nigeria. Hong Kong witnessed one of their deadliest fires ever. Tanzania witnessed their deadliest protest ever. And the US had their longest government shutdown And then, just to round out the year, Ghana's Ibo Noah said that the world would flood on Christmas Day. Has it? The Diddy documentary got released. The Epstein files kinda got released. Australia had their deadliest terror attack in 3 decades. They also became the first country to ever ban social media for under 16s. And Christmas came early for some after Jake Paul and Andrew Tate lost their fights just 1 day apart. Holy, what a wild year we have had together yet again. Telling you guys, 2026 is gonna be our year. I love you all. Have a fantastic new year. And as always, I'll keep you guys updated.
Yes, well, there you go. What a crazy year it was. He didn't mention all the drones in the sky that we had in January and all that space stuff that's been going on, 3i Atlas, which is, in my opinion, a big agenda they've been pushing for the last year or two. The whole blue beam that's projected, that one. But yeah, let me know. What was the biggest event for you in 2025? Let me know in the comments.
This guy claims he's stuck in France in the year 2055 and can't find a way back. And everything he shows in his videos looks disturbingly unreal. For several years now, he's been posting clips that depict a future completely devoid of people. The footage shows empty streets and total silence. The roads are deserted, yet vending machines and terminals are still working, as if the country itself still exists, but its population has completely vanished. In some videos, he walks into stores and shows shelves full of video games made for the PlayStation 7. Even more unsettling, every single game on display is designed for that console, a system that doesn't even exist in our time. One detail in particular really alarmed viewers. A nearly empty vending machine with just one bottle left inside. The date on it is clearly visible, April 2055. According to him, it's a drink that hasn't even been released yet in our present day. Even more disturbing is the moment when he enters the Louvre and films the Mona Lisa from up close. The room is completely empty. No guards, no tourists, as if time itself has frozen. He does the same with the Eiffel Tower, showing it surrounded by absolute silence and emptiness. What makes the story even more unsettling is the fact that he started posting these videos long before the explosion of AI and modern visual tools.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting one. We've had a few of these time travelers pop up on social media over the last, few decades. Let me know, please. What are your thoughts about that? Do you think it's real? If not, how do you think they're doing it? Because to me, just looking at that footage, all the grass is mowed, nature hasn't started to take over. And well, I don't know how long it's obviously 30 years in the future, but there's no people, right? So how long has there been no people? Because obviously without being looked after and mowed and gardens, pruned and all this, then nature starts to ingress pretty quickly, right? So that's one thing, and I don't know why he paints his face. Like, that's weird. If he's in the future, wouldn't he want people to know who he was? So it does, I would err on the side of it's probably not real, but please do leave me your thoughts. And if you don't think it's real, how do you think he's doing it? Getting in and picking up the Mona Lisa and all these types of things, getting dates on bottles. I mean, that's, you could probably print that. It's just a lot of work, right? But let me know your thoughts. And also, guys, while you're here, please do give me a like, subscribe, and again, of course, leave me your comments.
Is the sun really hot? I'm just asking questions. See, now I just realized why. I just realized why I failed high school. I graduated high school with a 1.0 GPA. You want to know why? Because I was asking questions like, how the hell you say that the whole moon and the sun is 6 trillion quadrillion miles away, right? The question I be asking is, when do it be moving though? And you be talking about, during the seasons and all this stuff. So then how the hell it stay hot in certain countries, but then we got seasons and we get cold over here? And then be hot the next month. Right? Now, these are questions I be asking. The sun ain't hot. You saying we spinning at 6 quadrillion, majillion miles per hour? Why ain't the clouds moving like that then? Why ain't the clouds moving that fast? You know, even better. Why is it that when you see an airplane take off, if you driving, the airplane could get stuck? Don't act like the airplane would get stuck in the air. And you're gonna be like, oh, it's velocity and it's a whole bunch of science crap. Go explain the crap, why it's stuck in the air. Explain that. Oh, it's because when you're moving, the trajectory of the... Shut up! Helpful. I'm telling you, planes get stuck in the air. But I'm called crazy. It's like, nah, that was crazy.
Oh my God. Um, wow. Do you think that he like purposely went and bought that packet of chips to make his video with so he could eat them? Um, I don't know. Was that all in jest or was it not? Like he lost me there with a few of his things. But he's got a point. Is the sun hot? Like, is the sun hot? Because the higher we go in the atmosphere, the colder it seems to get. You know, you definitely don't overheat in a plane. As far as I know, there's no thermal, insulation layers in planes to stop the sun heat because they're a lot higher, right? You would think that they're closer to the sun, therefore hotter if the heat radiation is coming from the sun. The whole thing about seasons, I'm sure we all know the mainstream globe version, the Earth spins round on its axis of 23 degrees and, blah, blah, blah. Creates seasons and we've got the equator. So the flat Earth model, the sun, moon within the firmament going around from the tropics to the equator and then out to the other tropics. That all works as far as, sunlight. But what about the heat? What do you think? Have you ever thought of that? Like, is the sun actually hot? Because if it's giving off all the heat, why does it not get hotter when we go up higher? Interesting question.
Just happened to be reading a book on Tartaria. What happened to all the people from Tartaria?
Well, I would say for the long answer, then you need to read my book. But the short answer is you ate them.
You ate them.
You ate them.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's
the
expand.
majority of the people that fell during the Civil and Napoleonic Wars were used as fertilizer. You can Google that. We know Google and Wikipedia is not the place to go for factual information, but
Mhm.
even on there, it will tell you that for people in England or Britain, most of the bodies that were brought back were used as fertilizer. The bones were used to make bone china, and the skulls and some other bones were used in the catacombs to serve as a trophy cabinet and also a warning to the previous civilization, because the Napoleonic Wars and the Civil Wars were basically Tartarian people killing each other without knowing they were on the same side. So they wiped thousands, millions of people out by getting them to kill each other, which is normally what civil wars are about.
Yeah.
Depopulate, and also the teeth in the Napoleonic Wars were a lot of them were removed to make dentures. So Waterloo teeth became one of the most expensive and sought after dentures you could get in England at the time. So we ate them indirectly through fertilizing crops. We ate off them if we had bone china, and if you had dentures at the time, you even used their teeth to do it.
It's just so grisly and macabre and makes a person feel all kind of inside like grim, like because it's just so dark. It's just so
That's the
terrifying.
people in charge, isn't it?
Exactly, that's my point. This is what's been done to us, to humanity. And again, it doesn't help with the degradation of the brain and the physiology and the anatomy of people and the foods we eat and what we did to the cows, feeding them their own. Anyway, okay.
Yes, same thing.
Right,
Exactly the
same
same
thing.
thing.
Because that's how they see us as cattle, as meat to be
Yeah,
slaughtered, eaten,
and they
fertilized.
do. Yeah.
Right. So you mentioned the catacomb. So this is France, underground,
They're
miles and
everywhere.
miles. Yeah, but okay. And so but this is a really this really serves as a digestible answer because people have said, how come there's 4 million skulls in the catacombs under Paris, let's say, when there weren't that many people back then, or so we're told, because everything is a lie, everything. How the hell? How the hell do they know there are 8 billion people today? They don't. Someone said that.
No.
I don't believe a single living person has all the answers, and I do not believe that particular one. So the catacombs that you mentioned there, thank you. That's a very digestible answer.
Wow. We ate them. That was Guy Anderson, of course, one of my friends. Go check out my main channel there. Well, geez, I think we've done like 10 or so interviews now last year. And he's got 3 books out. His channel is Tesla and the Cabbage Patch Kids. So go check him out on YouTube. But yeah, he's a great researcher. And I mean, what he's saying is not wrong. You can just look into mummies, what happened to all the mummies from Egypt, hundreds of thousands of mummies that they found. They'll tell you, yep, turn into blood and bone, into fertilizer. And so were many, many other bodies, right? The bone china hadn't made that connection yet. But yeah, this is the thing. This whole question of where are the cemeteries, right? Where are all the bodies buried, and where's all the meat coming from for all those Macca's burgers? That's been hitting the socials this year, and it kind of ties in, right, to the same theme. Is this still going on? Are they, liquefying us and using us as fertilizer? That's an interesting question. If you've seen Soylent Green or Brave New World, same kind of concepts, right? And, if you've heard of spirit cooking, look into that. And they literally make food that looks like people and eat it. And we know about the whole, vampire thing. And, it's just very Elite behavior, isn't it? And of course, the biggest religion in the world that they push, they go every Sunday and eat the body and drink the blood of their savior. So it's a very, very strange realm we find ourselves in. But let me know your thoughts on all of this.
Here's the thing, what's crazy about China? There's not even 2 billion people in China. We all think China has 2 billion people, right?
That's what they always claim.
That's what they claim.
Right.
Here's 2 things. How is it that when the CCP took over in the 50s and they had that one birth, singular kid, how is it that their population grew since then? Does that make sense?
That's a good point.
2, a Chinese national just came out and said, there's not 2 billion people in China. She says it's probably closer to 500 million.
That's it?
That's it. Yes. She said they've been lying because it's propaganda. They want to seem bigger than what they are. How do you surveil 2 billion people? Isn't 500 million way more manageable? And it's a lot of land, so that's the thing. And they have ghost towns over there. Right now, they built tons of like skyscrapers and all this other stuff. They were expecting all these people, but I think they did that by design. It's really not that many people over there.
Wow, 500?
We have what, 300 here? 350?
Yeah, 350 here.
That's not much bigger than us.
I have a few Chinese friends, and the ones that come from small towns are the small towns. So I don't know about the 2 billion.
I mean, that's what they always claim. So I was leaning on that.
How is that possible if they only had the one child rule for 50 plus years?
That's a good point. That's a good point.
So they're lying. So that's the thing. So it's much more manageable. So that's why they have the social credit score system right now. Like if you have a low score and you're hanging out with somebody else, your score drops. And then like if your score is too low, you can't ride the train. You can't get something to eat. There's videos where there's like, you see it on a board.
So you starve?
Yes. There's people starving in the streets right now.
Okay, how do you get a good score? What does a good score mean?
They're saying basically if you do good deeds, if you help the government.
If you do good deeds?
Yes.
Shit, this is Black Mirror.
You haven't seen Black Mirror?
I've seen Black Mirror.
There's an episode where a girl is trying to like be a good Samaritan in society and it builds up her score. That's literally what's happening right now.
And that came out like 5 years ago.
You can't buy food.
No, you can't ride the train.
So you die.
Yeah. There's videos of people dying in the street right now in China because they have the lowest credit score. The shit is crazy. It's wild.
Yes, of the population. I definitely don't believe the figures that they tell us. And who is that guy? He's been suddenly popping up all over the place, just come out of nowhere. I think he's supposed to be ex-CIA or military or something. but suddenly he's everywhere, right? Talking about all these theories, which sets off my spidey senses a little bit. But yeah, so the population, I don't believe there's 2 billion people. He was correct when he said they've had a one-child policy. They had it for like 60 years or something. So you can imagine that at best is going to halve the population every generation because 2 people can only make one, right? Clearly, half the population. So, 500 million as a maximum would probably be a good guess. When he goes into saying it's a small population, so they can introduce their digital currency, it's not a small population, man. That's really not. It's much larger than the USA. I mean, it's 20 times what Australia's got. So, and the whole social credit, people dying in the street because they can't afford food. What is going on in China? Yeah, I was asking this, a couple of months ago, quite often is what's going on in China because I don't believe any of it. And I think what is happening is it's been put out there. One, they increase the population, so it's a threat, right? It's a military threat. This whole, they're the boogeyman, right? If it's not them, it's Russia, right? And the second one is the social credit score, right? This is what we hear a lot about when we're talking about China. Um, we we don't know if that's been introduced. I mean, I've seen videos of people having to sign in and stuff, but all this, you lose all your rights for bus, it's just an edge, isn't it? So I kind of think it's starting to look to me like it could just be predictive programming, right? They're showing us through another country that most people aren't going to go to, right? And it's hard to get in and travel. They're showing us the social credit system, the digital ID that they're now trying to enforce and introduce all around the Western world. So that's what I'm thinking at the moment. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments.
Most people have no idea what this man was trying to do. Still to this day, over 15, almost 20 years later, it's not in people's consciousness. They are not aware of what happened in Libya with Muammar Gaddafi. If you were to read the headlines, he was an evil psychopath who was an absolute nut job. And he was very evil. He did such mean things to his citizens, apparently. And I'm not disputing that. Like, this isn't like denial of whatever they say happened there. Apparently there's some chemicals involved in citizens and demonstrators and whatever. But listen, what is known is that Gaddafi had free healthcare, free electricity, interest-free loans. Newlyweds received 50 grand to find a new home. Mothers received $5,000 on the birth of a child. Citizens received a percentage of all oil sales and petrol, and it was 14 cents per liter. Government paid 50% of the price of your car. Unemployed Libyans received the average salary for their profession in benefits. But that's not the craziest part. Because you can do all these things and still somehow be evil, I'm sure. But what's not mentioned is the Great Man-Made River Project. You would not believe what this guy did to Libya to try to make it totally self-reliant, grow all its own food, have all of its own energy from oil, and be not indebted or, reliant on other nations for its prosperity. They went along in the middle of the freaking desert with trucks and tractors and excavators, and they tapped into and drilled into a gigantic freshwater aquifer underneath the desert. They tapped into this aquifer and brought billions of gallons of fresh, clean, pure, non-fluoridated water to the surface to try to make Libya, which was a desert country, a agricultural powerhouse, growing dates and all kinds of crazy stuff in the middle of the desert because they had an unlimited, basically, supply of water from this aquifer. The crazy part is that when NATO went in there, some people think, this is disputed though, it's a contentious issue, that they deliberately destroyed Libya's water infrastructure. And the contentious issue is that there's allegations that they used depleted uranium weaponry during the 2011 airstrikes. And apparently the justification was that the trucks that were drilling the wells looked like missile launching trucks. So there's that. Now, was this man truly an evil guy who did a bunch of horrible things? I'm not saying he didn't do anything bad in his life. I'm not saying he was perfect. Or, though, was he a threat to the establishment because he wanted to trade oil and not use the petrodollar and make his own gold-backed currency? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
Gaddafi, yeah. The other thing he would not do was let the world banks in, and that has been the end of many, many leaders making that decision. starting off in World War II, right? No doubt before, but the Führer in World War II wouldn't let the banks in. Saddam Hussein wouldn't let the banks in. Gaddafi wouldn't let the banks in. And it's the same story on and on and on. Iran, I don't think have got them yet. Not sure what's going on in Venezuela, but something, right? But this is the thing. He wanted to do his own thing and become self-reliant. That means he wanted to opt out of globalism, and that's a big no-no, right? And the water, he was trying to get prosperity, trying to get new products, right? Basically to grow lots of food. And that's another big no-no, right? Because they have their little economy all sorted out. And, that they like to feed us fake food that's full of poison, right? So you can't have good fresh food coming out of a country that's not towing the line. So, in my humble opinion, they definitely got rid of him and they definitely destroyed his his big water project that trying to green Libya and turn it into, a farming country. They, they say it was all, a mistake, but they were blowing up the canals he's made, all the equipment, the trucks that were digging it, and then they went and they destroyed the factory that made all the parts for this big water project, right? So they couldn't even repair it, and it's gone now. It's gone. They didn't go back in and say, "Oh, sorry, we didn't mean to destroy your infrastructure," and then help them rebuild it, did they? No, but look what happens if you go against the wrong side. If you go against the side that the banks are on, they make you pay reparations for decades, right? And that's the big clue, right? They just blew them up, ran away. Sorry, we made a mistake. But let me know, have you heard about Gaddafi and Libya before? Let me know your thoughts.
I wonder what did this right here. This video is not going where you think it's going. Scientists are finally starting to admit that the ocean is way deeper than we thought it was, that they don't even know how deep it was, and that there's biological creatures living inside the ocean that are intelligent that have been watching us, right? But now let me blow your mind. What does the sky and the ocean have in common? And what's up with all the crazy orbs of light, the ships, the flying rolls like the government says? These meteors and all these weird things happening. They might just be the same place. This right here is what the Bible tells us. Look how the oceans go into the fountains of the deep. But what else is strange? The fountains of the deep are connected to the upper seas, the ocean above the firmament. And of course, when you look at stars, it looks like they're sitting in the water. This right here is a very real image, and they have seen these UFOs go right into the water. The Times UK, Heavens Above, NASA enlists priests to prepare for alien discovery. Seems like yesterday, doesn't it? For the people denying it, here's a NASA document from 1968. So what's really in the depths of our ocean? And since they're already talking about the alien engravers of biological creatures infused with demonic spirits, what else do we have here that they say do not exist? These are statues that were found. Well, you remember when this guy found the ocean inside the ocean? Really, he found another body of water in the ocean. Maybe that's the separation between the ocean, the fountain of the deep, and the waters above. The season of Earth is starting to get good.
The ocean. What is in the ocean? If you haven't checked out my podcast, Tartaria Australia, we've actually spent the last 6 weeks, last six podcasts have all been on the ocean and what is the ocean and, what's down there. Is that where all these alien life forms are coming from? Is that where all the texts come from? Fish gods, that's an interesting one to look into. The Pope wears a fish head, right? A fish mouth on his head. The mitre, it's a fish head. And you can look into the Dagon. There's just so much there, right? But go and check out my podcast, link below. And ever since we've been doing it, this topic is popping up everywhere. I don't know, maybe it's a consciousness thing, right? But basically, yeah, the waters above, I think, are the waters below. It goes up and surrounds us. It's like we're like a little dome, right? Like Aquaman, the Aquaman cartoon, a little dome under the ocean. Yeah, there's so much evidence that there's something going on under the ocean. That's where the internet came from, by the way. The first cables were laid in the 1850s, right? Transcontinental cables from New York to England in the 1850s. Before they'd even run cables through a town, they ran it across the ocean. Or so they say, or did they find them? There's so much to this topic. So if you're interested, go and check out the podcast. 6 videos so far on what is the ocean? Is that where aliens come from? Because they're definitely hiding something, right? Everything is inverted. They tell us to look up. Here comes Three-Eyed Atlas. Ooh, I think we should be looking down. All right, and there we go, guys. Another one finished. Hope you enjoyed that one. Please do give me a like if you enjoy this content. Share it around. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell, all that stuff, and leave me your comments. I'd love to know what you think about all these videos. And of course, we're getting to the end of the year, so if I don't make another video, I think I'll probably be able to squeeze one more in. But have an amazing New Year's, and I hope 2026 is fantabulous for you. And like I said at the start, I think this is going to be a very interesting year where we get back a lot of our power and we really start to see how fake and weak these elites are and how it's all just a show and there's nothing behind it. It's the Wizard of Oz, right? Pull back the curtain. It's just some short, pathetic dude who's got no real power. I think that's where we're going in 2026. Let me know your thoughts. And most of all, stay awesome. And I'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.
I'm not saying you're the dumbest person in the world, but you better hope the dumbest person in the world doesn't die. I don't know why we have to give money to countries that hate us. They should be able to hate us for free. Life is hard, but it's harder when you're stupid. They can kiss my ass. Beauty fades. Dumb is forever. Words can't express how much I don't care. You hate cops just because of the cops? The next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead. Senator Schumer never makes the same mistake twice. He makes it 5 or 6 times just to make sure he got it right. These people are about 10 exits past normal. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Somebody at the White House has been smoking the devil's lettuce, okay? The brain is an amazing organ. It starts working in a mother's womb, and it doesn't stop working until you get elected to Congress.